Hello, and welcome to all you murmurers out there in Fantasyland. Welcome to the Steem Punke, my steam-powered air, land, and sea vessel in which I, as captain, traverse the global landscape, seascape, and the unfriendly skies to bring you the very best in meaningless information. And who, you might ask, am I? Well, I may or may not be the Steem Punke, but I can surely inundate you with opinionated opinions about damn near everything. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel by clicking the appropriate links which you'll find below. Your participation will help grow this channel and inspire more and a wider variety of subjects, treatises, investigations, analyses, and digging into the business of others, to entertain, educate, and often get deeply under your skin. But the Steem Punke won't be worrying about any ramifications from that, only the laughter that'll ensue. And now, let's talk about elective surgery. We don't need to fix our election system. We need to fix the voters. I'll be back in a moment. It's a bit loud in here, but we're flying over several volcanoes as we tour the volcanism of Italy. There is a string of extinct volcanoes that runs along the shin, if you will, of the boot-shaped country that culminate in Vesuvius, which, as most of us have been informed, destroyed two cities about 80 years before the birth of Jesus. There are about 50 active, inactive, and extinct volcanoes in Italy, and myself and the crew had a long debate about them, which ended in a vote regarding which was the most important. This got me thinking about political elections and the voters who participate in them. Are you a liberal? Well, that sucks. Are you a conservative? Well, that sucks too. Are you an independent? Yeah, well, no one wants to listen to you. Tea Party? Yeah, that one played out a while ago. Rarely hear anyone even using that term anymore. Now, while it does suck to different degrees to be any of these, depending of course on whom you're talking to or about, the overriding truth here is that it actually sucks to be any of them. Just in general, because of something neither of the various camps have enough of a sense of rationality to think about. These people, these politicians who keep screwing you out of your votes, don't give a rat's patootie about you or the issues you get yourself all bent out of shape over. They're playing you. Like a cheap knockoff violin, they're playing you. Pluck, pluck, twang, twang. And what do? Why, exactly what they tell you to do, of course. Notice they never tell you to think for yourself. So far too many of you don't. You just don't. You buy into their lies, to their twisted versions of what they tell you is truth, to their tired moronic rhetoric. And what's more, many of you buy into their hate. And this is the garbage you bring to the polls? It's little wonder these jackbacks keep getting elected and re-elected based on telling you all the broken things they tell you they're going to fix. But what's broken? The country? No, not the country. The country isn't broken. The electoral system isn't broken. No, what's broken? Excuse me a moment. No, the country nor the electoral system are not broken. What's broken is the voters. Most of you, if you've not yet had the ability to be honest with yourself, beaten out of you by all the rhetoric, if you are honest, you know you vote mainly to make some point, rather than trying to elect men and women who actually give a real damn about the state of the country. Because most of these politicians don't. They only give the most damn about the state of their power levels and their bank accounts and the amount of money their PACs have raised to, you guessed it, screw you out of your vote one more time. If there's anything that's really seriously broken, it can be fixed in about a month if they really wanted to do it. But they don't. They accentuate the hot button issues they know will keep us at each other's throats. Now, they have us, or at least many of you, snowed under the belief that there's all this political infighting in the halls of governmental power. No, little Susie, little Bobby, it's the political infighting among the voters that's keeping these incompetents in office. They keep playing the same games every 2, 4, or 6 years, and we keep being the biggest losers. They have us out here clawing at each other's necks while they, the lot of them, are feeding from the same public trough with the same veracity. Now, instead of us holding them accountable, we turn our vitriol upon each other. Yeah, it figures you liberals would support that. It's no surprise you conservatives want that law passed. This is a left-wing communist plot. That over there is a radical right-wing conspiracy. Seriously? The Republicans have you conservatives scared out of your teeth caps that the Democrats are coming to take away everything you've worked so hard for, while the Democrats have you liberals all red-eyed over the silly idea that Republicans are after all of your freedoms. They sit up there and put on their show for C-SPAN, while behind your backs and mine, they're all counting the same pennies, sharing the same power among only themselves, while telling you what a great job they're doing and blaming their frequent failures on the other side. Then you all buy wholeheartedly into the garbage, and that forms the basis of your vote, exactly as they predicted. They have most of you so well pegged that they know they can stand in front of any camera with the straightest face imaginable and lie with their eyes wide open, looking right at you, not doubting for a microsecond that you're buying it and buying it completely. It's gotten to the point at which they don't even need to try as hard as they used to hide the fact that they're lying, because they've done it before. And even when the lies come to light, you all will still trust them and still vote for them. There's a candidate running for a high office right now, and the man is so obviously, apparently, woefully, pathetically unqualified that it's impossible to believe anyone doesn't see it clearly as mountain-filtered spring water. But he's likely to win. Now, why would a known incompetent person win election to such a high office? Because the voters have been duped, thoroughly convinced that power is more important than capability and competence. Why, I heard one voter say she'd vote for the man anyway just because her party needs to be in control. It doesn't matter that such control will itself be largely incompetent, or how this man will vote will largely depend on whose hand is up his back. He's a puppet. What shall the Steem Punk call a voter who clearly sees an incompetent candidate and yet consciously chooses to ignore it and give the incompetent their vote? The Steem Punk might be inclined to refer to said voter as a gullible fool. Now, it's a certainty that, should this person win, there will undoubtedly be the standard lie about how willing he'll be to reach across the aisle and work with the other side. But don't we know by now that never happens, unless there is some benefit of which both parties can avail themselves? Someone asked recently why men, decade after decade, lie so much to women. There were a plethora of answers, most of them silly and some obviously intended to be attempts at humor. But the definitive answer, provided of course by the Steem Punk, was that men lie to women simply because it works. This is not a man thing, it's a human thing. It is against the nature of a normal, rational human to keep doing a thing that's not working or seldom works, as much as it is human nature to keep doing a thing when it works every time, or most of the time. So it is with politics. Politicians lie because it works. It always has. And nothing is afoot in the current political and electoral climate in this country to indicate it will ever stop working, so don't expect that to change anytime soon. You're being lied to profusely right now in several states in which powerful governmental seats are up for grabs. You will cast your votes based on lies or believing them, and elect men and women without regard to competence, savvy, or even a modicum of intelligence or the ability to engage in critical analytical thinking. And these are the people you will choose to represent you. You see now why the Steem Punke says it's the voters, not the system? Since we do still vote for certain individuals to do certain things for us, politicians must respect that. But what they've learned is how to lie better, so that even when a lie is obvious, they'll still tell it, and to good effect. And here's how they have you trained. If the person from the other party should happen to win, then you must spend the next term, however long it may be, denigrating, berating, and fault-finding until public confidence is eroded to the point at which support for the person's agenda wanes. Then, in the next election cycle, they convince the voters they were the best choice all along, so now that person wins and the cycle repeats, repeats, repeats. The United States is just a huge washing machine of political ignorance and buffoonery. Cycle after cycle. Does the Steem Punke have anything remotely resembling a solution? Of course. How dare ye even ask? Think. Educate yourselves. Think. Ask questions and don't stop until you get clear, rational, sensible answers. Think. Stop letting the biased media control the narrative and influence your thought process with cleverly arranged, misunderstood, and misapplied information. Think. You have the capacity to think your way through the jungle of political deception. You just need to stop being too lazy to do it. You have the power to have yourselves and your fellow Americans led capably, fairly, and rationally. The politicians have rubbed this out of your memory and worked hard to keep you from reacquiring it. Being gullible and falling for clever, lying rhetoric doesn't mean you're dumb or stupid. It just means at some point you became too lazy to apply your own intelligence to matters that affect you and your family both now and in the future. Take back your votes. You want to build back better? You want to make America great again? Well, first, you better realize you will likely do neither by voting for candidates who have espoused slogans like these and others. They use that clever phraseology technique to stop you from thinking, and you wind up becoming a whore to sloganism, which, where the rubber meets the road, means absolutely nothing. And that's enough of that. Subscribe to my channel. You will find topics and information here you won't find anywhere else on the internet, not to mention the boldness to speak it. Support me by clicking on advertisements and, sending me scads of cash money. Listen, I'm only kidding about that. But you can also dog me out, talk trash about me, call me names. Doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me one bit. The Steem Punke never worries about such things. I invite you to do it simply because perhaps it'll help you entertain yourself. But you can believe nothing but that for whatever of these three you choose, an appropriate level of respect will be rendered, either gratefully appreciated or categorically ignored. You'll be seeing me or someone surprisingly similar on future episodes on this channel. You won't be able to tell the difference. I don't, and I should know. So settle back as I close the book on another chapter of the Steem Punke. Bye now.